You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
It used to be that calling a film a turkey was an insult. Nowadays, there's actually an audience for some of the worst movies ever made.
Baby, you are gonna go broke showing turkeys like these.
Now we're talking turkey.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Let's Talk Turkeys. I'm Movie Miss, and my co-host, Miss Nikki Flicks, is off this week. Discussing today the movie from 1981, The Funhouse, for some spooky October.
Who will dare to face the challenge of the monster? Who is mad enough to enter that world of darkness?
Something is alive in the funhouse. Something not alive like its father. Something better dead. Something that has the form of a human, but not the face.
This better be good.
It's gonna be great. Something that feeds off the flesh and blood of young innocence. Hang on, here we go. This is it. Something that tonight will turn the funhouse into a carnival of terror. I don't know what that term is. We're gonna try to do it. I just want to get the hell out of here. The Funhouse, coming soon from Universal Pictures. The Funhouse, it's a carnival of terror from Tobe Hooper, the director who terrified you with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And I couldn't do that by myself, so I'm being joined by horror fan, so my kindred spirit, Brian. Welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
So give me a little bit of insight into your love of all things horror, Tobe Hooper, and of course, this film.
I guess we'll start off with the love for horror. You know, horror fans in general. It's funny because I kind of had a little love letter with horror the other day. Elvira was celebrating her 40th anniversary. And it was just interesting because I know in the past she's talking about like conventions, like Wizard World's horror conventions. She goes, you know, the horror fans usually are like the nicest people and then she's like, the religious people are usually ones that don't tip, leave the rooms, very judgmental. But I think as a kid, we're always drawn to horror. I think it's that Halloween of, it's almost like a joke or it could be something taboo you're not meant to see. And the rule of thumb in my household was if it was PG-13, it was okay. Couldn't watch anything else unless it was on TV. So I usually have to watch like on TNT or USA, Up All Night or Monster Vision or, you know, Svengoolie. So it was always kind of my gateway. My dad was not a horror guy at all. But we would do like dinner and a movie on TBS, then he'd hop over on that bandwagon. I don't know, I just always was drawn to the macabre. Even as a kid, I liked, you know, my bad guy action figures. And I don't know, I just think there's something that captures your imagination and the whole idea of misunderstood monsters, which I think this movie kind of grasps with. And that's kind of also another Tobe Hooper hallmark. Didn't try to make it Tobe Hooper, just kind of happened. It was just one of those where I remember seeing it. I've only probably seen this movie 3 times and it was like, it's worth a rewatch.
Okay, well, I had only seen it one time, probably in the early 90s, and I didn't remember it. So this might as well have been a first-time viewing for me.
Cold watch.
Yeah, for sure. So it was a treat, sort of. Okay, well, let's jump into some fun facts here. So the film, 96-minute runtime, actually goes by pretty quickly for a horror film. Directed by Tobe Hooper, as you mentioned, who is very famous for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, which was directly following this film. You a fan of that one?
I am a fan of that one. That one always has like that controversy around it too, with the whole ghost directing. And I think this has been well documented. Poltergeist is kind of like the fallout of his career because it was never quite the same afterwards, which is, I don't know, it's kind of heart wrenching, especially like even when he passed so many years ago. I think that was when they had the hurricanes out in his state. So even his funeral was like a couple days late.
So budget for this film was a cool 3 million, and they shot in Miami, Florida, which to be honest just looked like the Midwest to me.
Yeah, it did. You'd think they would almost do like the coastal like aspect of it if they were going to do Miami or Jersey, do the whole Boardwalk Empire kind of thing. You were talking about the budget being 3 million. I had a few extra features, and they talked to the producer, and originally it was a treatment for about $400,000, and then Universal got wind of it and they're like, hey, we'll up it closer to 4 million. And then they had to kind of redo the script as a result, because Toby Hooper was saying, okay, it's going to be a very small, intimate Texas Chainsaw kind of movie, which I kind of want to see that movie. You know?
So Larry Block was the writer,
Mm-hmm.
and Rick Baker on special effect makeup design.
What do you know? He didn't go on to have a career or anything, did he? He's
Yeah,
just
who's that guy? So then I guess also box office on this domestic was 7.8, which surprised me. People went to see this.
I would imagine they probably did. It probably did pretty well at drive-ins, I would imagine, because like you said, it was one of those things where I don't know how I would have came about it unless it was the box art. And then they had two posters. They had the one with like the Jack in the Box. They had the one where it was like the mouth with like the drool coming out.
What?
Yeah, you need to look that up. It's very cool. It's Gunther's mouth, and it just says the Funhouse. And the tagline was "Pay to get in, pray to get out." I was like, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's
Marketing.
on the nose. I like it. So for this film, top billed cast is Elizabeth Berridge, Cooper Huckabee, Largo Woodruff, Miles Chapin, Kevin Conway, and Sylvia Miles. I was surprised to see Sylvia Miles pop up in this because prior to this, she had been nominated for 2 Academy Awards. I was like, wow.
Crazy. Yeah. It's always interesting with horror casts. I mean, I think even of just like the remakes where they're like, oh, we got this person, and they end up being, beloved with fanfare, I mean, years ago when they were doing Everybody and Their Brothers doing a remake, like on Nightmare on Elm Street, they got Rooney Mara, who, went on to do quite a bit.
I get a kick out of, even though I'm hit and miss with his movies, I really appreciate that Rob Zombie loves the old horror icons and he likes to cast them.
I remember the first time we seen Joe Grizzly in there, and I'm just like, dude, thank you. I think Lords of Salem, he brings like Meg Foster in. I'm just like, holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So for this film, the IMDb plot, I picked the shortest one. Let's see if there's any spoilers in this. 4 teenagers visit a local carnival for a night of innocent amusement. They soon discover, however, that there is nothing innocent or amusing at all.
But I kind of take issue with innocent. I mean, you even have the scene where it's like, I'm staying at such and such, like in
the payphone. I was like,
yes.
Wow.
I mean, I was even joking with a friend of mine after I watched it. It was like, I don't think we ever had like a nudist booths at our carnivals or anything. I guess I was doing it wrong. You need to find that wrong exit, on the state line.
You weren't tearing enough holes in enough tents. See?
Exactly.
All right, let's jump into the plot, shall we?
Yes.
So our movie starts with creepy carnival music, which really got me in the mood. I was like, here we go. And some creepy shots of like still animatronics and dolls.
Oh, I think my exact verbiage was creepy effing intro. Just the one looks like a creepy Pee Wee Herman. The other one's like a lady with the knife. No, I think the intro is great as far as that goes. Very effective.
All right. So we enter a boy's bedroom filled with all manner of horror movie posters and memorabilia. And I was freaking out for real.
Yeah.
He's obsessed. And Universal. So there's like Dracula, Frankenstein. Did you see all that?
Yes. I mean, there is such the motif with Frankenstein's monster throughout this whole movie. I mean, even when we get to Gunther, I always think that's also kind of a precursor of the theme, like these freaks, if you will, Toby Hooper's always drawn to. And I don't know. I guess it was, it always connects to me in the Of Mice and Men with like Lenny and George. One guy doesn't know better and he is born kind of wrong, but evil is taught and learned. And I think we get to see that, same with Frankenstein's monster. His only crime was living.
That is
So, yeah,
such an interesting correlation. I would never have thought of that. And you're so on point. All right. So we see this little boy here and we get to cut to titties 2 minutes in. You're right. That's an 80s horror film. Give me the titties right away. And then we see a teenage girl getting in the shower. And then we see this was so reminiscent of Halloween to me. The little boy's POV.
Yeah, with the mask and everything.
And he grabs a knife off of his wall of weapons, which was interesting at his age.
Mm-hmm. They used to market lawn darts back then. You could actually kill somebody with those. So yeah,
have a set of those.
The weapons and the old rubber spider gag, I think is what I wrote. It's
Yes.
interesting you talked about it. I thought exactly Halloween or Psycho point of view, mostly Halloween. And I think Larry Block got the notes when they originally shot the film that they said there's nothing happening at the beginning. They actually did an exposition shot where they were moving around later on for when we get into more spoiler territory. But Universal said, can you advertise that this is a horror movie a little bit sooner? So then they went and shot the whole POV thing, which I don't know. I feel kind of mixed about it. I'm just like, okay, Halloween, but it does kind of establish what the kid does, even though he ends up being like Scrat from Ice Age, just doing his own thing for comedic relief. So
yeah, I expected him to, from this opening, to turn up to be more of a menacing figure in the movie, and he's not.
No.
So he attacks his sister, Pretend, in the shower. And we find out her name is Amy and he's little Joey. This was weird to me. She gets all mad at him for scaring her and she yells at him, just for that, I'm not taking you to the carnival on Saturday. But then later we find out the carnival's leaving. So I was like, and just like you said, they maybe reshot some stuff. Maybe that was part of it because that didn't make any sense.
No. And I feel like there definitely was like some growing pains with the script and like the direction they did see, especially like just on the turnaround. Because I think Larry Block got paid, I think like a cool $1,000 for the script, but then after Universal came in, they didn't pay him any more money, which he should have got more. And I think he negotiated the book novelization rights, which I didn't even know they would make a damn book for the Funhouse,
So what did you think of good old Buzz here, who rolls up to pick up Amy for their date?
Oh my goodness. I mean, even before he pulls up, they're like, filling station boyfriend, late for a date, the movie lies versus Carnival. I mean, I think we get a good idea of what he wants and what he does, especially when they kind of do the exposition from the dad where he's like, those girls died. And then she's kind of thinking about it. It's like, can we do something else? He's like, no, man, it's going to be cool. I think he was a few shades light of Biff Tannen.
It's just like, yeah, my note is Buzz is kind of a dick because he just says shit about her dad.
He's the full on, yeah. Flaming prick. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Then he gives Amy grief. Well, we got to go pick up two of your friends. And we find out that's Liz and Richie.
Richie kind of looked like the Pledge version of Stephen King when they first showed him. I just wanted to throw that out there. Anywho.
So for me, we have a little turkey versus tie-in here because we just did the film Howard the Duck, and the guy who plays Richie, Miles Chapin, shows up in Howard the Duck.
Oh, yes.
So when he showed up in this, I was like, I know that guy.
6 degrees separation from the Funhouse.
Yeah.
This movie could have benefited from a shared universe crossover with Howard and Gunther getting together, exploring the universe.
Hollywood, write that movie if you can hear you can hear us. So, okay, then we cut to little Joey sneaking out of his house and wanting to go down to the carnival. And on the way, explain this to me, gets harassed by a man in a pickup with a gun. What?
I initially thought it was Edgar from Men in Black, and he's going to ask him for some sugar, but then I was like, no, this guy's too literate for Edgar. Yes, this kind of begins the B subplot where the kid just wanders around for the obligatory jump scares. I actually laughed my ass off the first time I ever seen it. He pulls the gun out and cocks it, and he just laughs. I want to know if like Toby Hooper, unfortunately he isn't here to speak for himself, if this was just like a reflection. I always heard his family would like come up with very mean lies to him. Like they would basically say, oh yeah, the guys down the street make lampshades out of human skin, and he would believe this shit. So I wonder if this is like almost a metaphor for his childhood, all these Creepy drifters. What the hell neighborhood is this?
So Buzz apologizes now to Amy for being a dick. And we get a quick montage of the two of them and Liz and Richie going on rides, playing games, and it all culminates to Liz and Amy in the bathroom where this creepy, like, I don't know, homeless lady is weird with them and bothering them. And this whole place is just janky looking.
Oh yeah, the bathrooms.
Ooh.
Yeah, that old crone. You know, people underestimate the power of a good old crone. But no, that lady, I'm kind of curious where the hell they picked her up from. Because usually you get like a homeless character actor like Buck Flower and all that. And I'd never seen this lady before, but I was like, damn, I want to spin off of just this lady. Like, where does she go? Does she follow him around? She's like
What's her story?
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point of this stupid bathroom scene is just to get to the fact that Amy's a virgin. Liz has to give her shit for being a virgin. Okay, we did that in the 80s.
Yep. Now the innocent must be punished.
That's right. So the gang goes through just this bizarre abnormalities of nature tent, like a freak display. And we see like a two-headed cow, which I guess was a real cow, and a cleft palate cow, which is also, those were real, I guess. Am I Googling? Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty legit. I don't know. I guess it's not too hard to get like mutated livestock for that stuff. And I would imagine, even though this was shot in Florida, which kind of makes more sense just with like carnivals. I mean, you have an abundance and you can get those people pretty much to just turn their headlights to give you good lighting if we're doing the Roger Corman thing. You know,
right,
like real filmmaking.
I love that term. So then we finally land on a bizarre looking human fetus in a jar with kind of a split head.
Yeah.
I don't know what the medical term for that is. I just call it creepy. Ooh.
Definitely achieved its goal. And I think this really starts to hammer the Toby Hooper freak kind of thing, whether it be Leatherface or this. And almost like I almost say like evolution of things, just how it like kind of progresses. I mean, it kind of does tie back into Frankenstein. What is more freaky than that? And then if we're going to bridge it back even farther to the Universal monsters, a lot of the monsters are misunderstood. I mean, the Creature, the Mummy, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Dracula's
fuck Dracula though.
Nope, he's straight up evil and he does it because he's got it use.
So now, oh Lord, they passed the tent for an adult striptease show, ? Like you said, what the hell is this doing here?
I think they just had to get more titty quota. That's my theory, but who knows? Maybe the guy's like, we'll let you shoot the girls for, a nice span over 2 minutes. He's like, I actually have no film rolling, but let's do it. All right, let's shoot it. Got to hit our mile marker. No.
Why is it taking all day to shoot this scene? It's so weird.
Yeah. Those are the days where nobody's late on set. Whether it be Magic Mike or Showgirls, everybody's there on that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Sign me up. So then they pop over to see, okay, a magician dressed like a vampire is his act. Okay, I'm rolling with it. So he pulls a volunteer up, puts her in a coffin, and pretends to stake her. Turns out she's really the assistant. I don't know. I mean, I love Toby Hooper, but that was kind of lame. I was like, really?
Oh, for sure. I think, I remember watching it. I think the runtime is smooth, and I love that they actually show them, and you get like those little snippets that feel organic.
All right, so next they pop in to see Madame Zena. That's Sylvia Miles. Basically, Amy's just getting her fortune told, but it gets cut short because all her friends can't stop laughing and making fun of the situation.
Because they got high.
Yeah, and she just jumps up and it escalates quickly. She gets mad.
Yeah, you don't mess with the gypsies, man. I'm surprised she didn't impale somebody. When I originally watched this, it was like she's gonna take that glass ball and it's gonna fall down with like a big old chunk of blood on it or something. But
then we cut back to little Joey going on a Funhouse ride, and the attendant is wearing a Frankenstein mask.
Yeah, did you see his hands too? They are gloves, but initially upon first watching, you're just like, something wrong with that guy,
right? And he's also, props to the actor, Wayne Doba, I believe, because his mannerisms and the way he's moving is super obvious something's not right with that guy.
Obvious in a way that wasn't too obvious. Just like if you ever do acting and some people belligerently too drunk versus how it would just be slightly. No, I agree with you. And a lot of that, especially for that guy, is usually they're trying to get you to do the stunts and the acting, which, that's a double whammy right there.
Right. So outside we see so Buzz has torn a hole in that tent to peep in been on the adult only show right now. He looks like he's about 30, so why didn't he just go in?
Yeah.
So then they decide, hey, let's go on the Funhouse ride. But not only go on it, let's stay the night in it. Good premise. You're setting me up for something spooky.
Yeah.
But as we get going here, it doesn't quite track because this Funhouse does not seem that big or expansive to places to hide.
No.
So they're in the ride, and I actually liked the inside of the ride. They used black light,
Oh yeah.
lots of spooky motion, like puppetry, dolls and things. But it was weird to me that Humpty Dumpty is sitting on what?
It's pretty damn weird. And then
It's very
especially later
weird.
on when they just kick on after like the power thing is supposedly off. No, it goes back to like it's gonna be gone Saturday. Even the other actors like reference that. And then of course they do the whole phone call beforehand to kind of cover each other's asses. Yeah, I like the inside, but as you said, I feel like it doesn't fit the exterior. And then a lot of the stuff they use is the same, and we don't get a feel like directionally aside from the floorboards, like where everything kind of connects to, aside from the big fan and the other things that we're going to see and hear about later.
Yes, that was going to be my question to you. The further along we go is what the hell is the geography of this place? Like, wow, what is the layout? Because this is so confusing. But back outside, we got Joey, who sees them all go into the Funhouse. Again, like you said, subplot of Joey wandering. What this is to no end. What is what is the point of Joey? Explain. I don't know.
I thought like his whole thing was going to be when he tried to get like a snack at the stand, he was like just going to like try to get like a, I don't know, a bologna sandwich, and it was just going to be his MacGuffin for the rest of the movie. And then he was like going to get in a food match with Gunther, and he's like going to find he had like another mouth or something and feel sorry for him and give him, I don't know. But like I said, it very much comes across as like obligatory jump scares, or it's just like we have this idea to move him there, but once we get him there, we're like, I dropped the ball. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all the lights in the carnival start to go out. Rides are shutting down, people are leaving, and the crew is cleaning up. And Joey, who didn't leave yet, gets startled by that old crone. Yeah. Did that jump scare you, or were you expecting it?
I was expecting it, but I mean, I'm kind of curious if they kind of really jump scared that little kid. I mean, especially after this. And then I was also kind of curious, going back to our point, how does he know it's Buzz's car when he's messing with the car? I think he's upstairs when the parents send him up. So it's just kind of like a little too easy, you know, to let him get away with that.
Agreed. That was my thought. He's really figured out that that's Buzz's car, and he knows they're still there.
Like there's a M. Night Shyamalan subplot we're missing.
Do not get me started on that. That is a whole other show, sir. So we cut back to inside the Funhouse where the two couples are now making out, and they get interrupted by a commotion. This scene is so weird. Explain to me geography again. They peer down through floorboards to watch this scene unfold that I'm going to describe in a second. And it seems to me that there's a basement room with cement walls and a door on a traveling carnival.
Yeah, which makes no sense, because how do you move concrete and all that, like we just said? It's almost like it's a real full-on basement that's like below ground, and yet it's just supposed to like levitate and move.
Thank God it wasn't just me, because I was watching that going, there's no way that's traveling. That room is.
No, and even before that, I was just like, was this just like a topless making out scene, or is this like post-coitus? Like, what's going on here? And they're like not that far, and it's like they're giving each other like direction, like two sets of caved-in miners. Like, are you on the boob yet? I am. It's like the 8th graders talking like stuff that they have no concept of. No.
So this scene that they're peeping on, this is Madame Xena and the guy in the Frankenstein mask. Now, did we ever get his name? Or I was just calling him the monster in my notes.
He's addressed as the monster in the credits, but I believe, I don't know if Rick Baker nicknamed him, but I think like the other people have referred to him as Gunther. But no, you're totally right with the monster.
Okay, that's kind of how I had him in my notes. But so this monster guy, he is gonna pay her for sex, but she charges him $100, and it doesn't even make it that far.
Adjusted for inflation today. We got a deal. I also want to take this moment in horror movie history. I think this is the first movie to involve a prematurely ejaculating monster as the inciting action.
I was like, I don't think ever seen this.
I would
Ever.
really like to get Felissa Rose's comments on Gunther and his member and advice. Maybe we could get him some, you could team up with like the creature from Castlefree and be like, yeah, see what I'm working with? Hey, at least you can do it, man.
So yes, he is premature. That comes to an end quickly. And then it gets violent and he kills her. And the kids see it all. So wisely, finally, after seeing all this, Buzz is like, we need to leave.
Yes. It starts off so comically and then it escalates so quickly to the point like where if I'm in their shoes, yes, I want to get the hell out of there at that point. It's usually the easiest and most obvious, and we'll see what our characters decide to do.
So they start wandering around, trying some locked doors, and eventually go up some stairs. Okay, rolling with it. The geography, okay.
Where's that staircase go to? No, nothing. It's just a flat.
So then we find out that the carnival barker guy we've been seeing outside is actually this monster's father, because he comes in and discovers Madame Zena's body. He yells at his son for killing her and stealing all the money out of the cash box. The monster freaks out. He starts wrecking shit, pulls his mask off, and he starts hitting himself, which I'm sorry, but I could not be scared at this moment with the big reveal because he's hitting himself.
Yeah, he's kind of like stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's supposed to kind of design us to give him sympathy, but I think it's just so damn weird, and we're still like
It's
letting
hysterical.
the moment kind of, congest a little bit. I also wrote down, it's kind of funny that, he got a hand job and she died by a hand job.
So Richie, during all this, accidentally drops his lighter, giving away that they are hiding up there. And then we find out that Richie is the one who stole all the money.
He's got to make sure she's dead.
Oh, God, that's so gross.
And then, of course, I was just like, yeah, what? I think even if you're a first-time viewer, just because they show the thing of money, it's like you just know this guy is... I don't know, Richie, I almost felt like Buzz would have been the dude to take the money as opposed to Richie, just because Richie's more of like a follower. But, I guess it kind of does fit of boys, getting, money, sex, nookie, all that good stuff.
So they all start now to head for an exit, and it's... This place, it's like they're going so slow, like it looks like it's a straight shot. You get in the little car, you go through the one level, and you come out the door on the other side. Like, how big is this place that they are lost?
It really can't be. And I think that's one of those things where they probably had the initial idea for what the Funhouse really was when it's like 400 grand. But then once they gave them that much, it's like, holy shit, it's a Star Wars, where is the toilet installation for the Death Star? Oh, right this way. It's like the Sears map. It's like, you are here. But no, you're totally right. Directionally speaking, and if it's a traveling, like it just doesn't add up or make any sense. Like with all the sub levels, it seems like it would just be one big loop, and that's kind of it.
And to me, I know it's silly because it's a cheesy horror movie from the 80s, but it takes me out of it, because I'm like, even just a little bit of common sense and realness would help me be scared. So outside, little Joey is still lurking around, and now he gets nabbed by one of the carnies. Something's happening with little Joey finally. Okay, something's happening.
That kid does not look like happy to be snatched either. When you watch that, like my first time, I was like, he's dead.
Right?
There's no coming back.
That's the last we see of little Joey. No. So then we cut to inside, and the monster's father is telling him he feels bad about his little brother in the jar. Okay. And he also promises his son that if he goes and does this one last thing and kills all those teenagers, he'll take him fishing as a reward.
How about that for motivation? Parenting, top notch. Oh, man.
Yeah. I was like, what? Okay.
This sounds like what the Scooby-Doo villains say, like when they have to get slightly aggressive. This is pretty 80s cheese, and I do love Toby Hooper, but if I had to rate this one is not equivalent to the others. I think it takes some motifs with, even the counterculture stuff. It isn't as strong with this movie. It's kind of a hodgepodge, especially by this last portion.
True. So, okay, the gang is now standing around listening to Richie talk, and they get startled by a skeleton that pops up out of a box. That was a good scare for me.
That was.
And then a rope suddenly drops down around Richie's neck, pulls him up into the rafters, and hangs him. Holy shit!
A lot of strangling in this movie.
Yeah.
And this is turkeys, right? They got him by the
That's
goblet.
right.
Yeah.
little Joey's parents come to pick him up. And this scene to me, it's not supposed to be funny, but it is super funny and super creepy because of how weird this guy is being with Joey, right? The carny guy.
Oh, this is the weirdest goddamn scene in the movie. I have so many thoughts about this scene.
Oh, please tell me, because I bet I agree with you.
When the parents show up, they're just like, number one, how does this guy know that's his parents? And like, there's no, like, and he gets snatched. It's almost like they had to throw some scenes out and rewrite it. It's like, all right, he's not a creeper, but then he's all like, he's sleeping really good now. He'll wake up. I just, took his moccasins off and or made him some blueberry pancakes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, easy there, Stu. Number one, I have a lot of questions for you. And then the parents are just kind of like annoyed. They're just like, why? That guy should almost like be the creepy surrogate parent. But at the same time, I can't handle and accept that either. When the parents are like, great, he ran away. He should be in bed. Oh man, am I missing the Mets game? Damn it. They're
the
like
mom
really
looks annoyed.
Yes, they're annoyed. Like, thank you for saving my kid. By the way, why are you so close and creepy with my kid?
Why are you rubbing his face
yes.
with a cloth all gingerly?
I don't know. That was so damn weird. It reminds me of just like those scenes that are like unintentionally supposed to be creepy that are. When you watch it in 2017, the creepiest part is the pharmacist. Like, Pennywise ain't got shit on that dude. He's like, hi.
Agreed.
It's like, ugh.
Okay, so little Joey gets picked up and then by the parents. It's so weird. And
it is. I was like, is this the Funhouse or Neverland Ranch? We got to pay attention.
That too. It's so inappropriate. I don't care what year it is. So then back upstairs, Buzz puts an axe into Richie's head when they think he's the monster sneaking up in one of the ride cars. Now, my question is, the power has gone out. All thunder and lightning, and so how the hell is this ride running?
Power goes out. It's like I hooked it up to the generator. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Powered on. It's powered on human blood now. No, I thought the same thing because they established that and nothing works. And it's like, we're conveniently going to activate it. Pay no attention to the man over here behind the corner. It's like, what?
So then Liz falls through a trap door, later wakes up next to a giant fan, and the monster suddenly shows up, starts hugging her after she begs for her life, and she finds a knife that's just sitting there, stabs him. That knife is just, this movie insulted me, honestly.
It really does. There's too many like easy outs. I think her trying to appease to him because he's not like a real killer. I think it's very much like the Lenny and George. I think everything's on accident, or he relies on his pure id of like being a creature, not knowing like the social boundaries and ramifications, which is why even though we laugh at fishing, I think, the mental capacity of our monster very much is at that way, which is why, there's also that sexual frustration and other things, because I can only imagine how old he is, There's just a lot of stuff that if they just would have pivoted or set it up a different way, I think it would have been stronger, because we go from getting strangled off screen, which that was pretty damn funny. And then the axe to the head was pretty cool with the lights, but like I said, it does very much insult you. It's basically like saying all the stuff we told you to pay attention to, disregard it because we're not going to use it. And I feel like that's just very bombastic and just takes you out of it. Like you said, it's almost more comedy at that point, which I don't think it was meant that way,
So Buzz and Amy go into a really cool looking, I will give them this set piece is cool. The big King Kong mouth. And the way it's lit, and it's so cool.
Another Universal Monster reference too. There you go.
I see what they did there.
Yeah.
So they get cornered by the father of the monster, who points a gun at them. Buzz proceeds to knock the gun out of the guy's hand, and they struggle and fight, which seemed weird to me and went on way too long because Buzz is twice the size of this guy.
Yeah.
I didn't buy that. But again, still rolling with it.
I have to ask you, was there any point where you watched it and you just like, you wanted to turn off, like, I can't believe this shit?
Yeah, that was at 2 minutes in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I enjoy them, which is why I have this show. I enjoy even the bad ones because I'll find something redeeming about them.
Yeah. And I
This
think
was
it goes,
laughable to me. I loved it. I laughed and laughed.
well, like you said, if it's boring, it's bad. You know, if it's entertaining and it's bad, then you got like a nice party movie, I think, at that point.
Right? So then, okay, this was weird to me too. The props in this funhouse apparently are sharp and real and deadly.
That's where the knife came. It fell through the floor. I'll
So,
drop
yeah.
my keys down there. Can I come back?
The pirate has a sword that's real enough that the Buzz pushes the father and he gets impaled on this prop.
You know,
It must be sharp.
I have a theory about that. I think the monster and his dad were stranded on an island. Can't even finish. I have some Tom Hanks vibes. And then they like survived by eating and killing the pirate. And it's like Weekend at Bernie's with the dad and the monster. See, the pirate's fine. His face and eyeballs are scratched out. We're going to take his costume and swords and put him in the funhouse, which conveniently can actually be on the island underground too and move and has all these multi-levels to it. Yes.
Only in Hollywood will they try to give us all of this in one movie.
Oh, dude.
It's like there's no way there's real fucking props that are gonna kill you. Okay, so God, he gets impaled on this prop. Okay. But whatever. So the monster now jumps down out of the rafters, and that was a fun scare, even though I saw it coming. Amy runs away, hears a gunshot, and then we see that Buzz is dead because he's delivered right to Amy in the arms of a giant clown prop that rolls up to her. Exactly.
It's another Frankenstein reference too. Just think of like the carrying of like people and all that too. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. Some of the props, I mean, like you said, I think some of the stuff just takes you out. It's like there's a real axe. There's a real bow staff. I was waiting for a bow staff fight to break out. Damn
A
it.
liger.
Yes.
So yeah, at this point, I was too confused to be scared because I was like, and laughing, but confused. Like, how did he wind up on this prop? How did this prop run without electricity? But yet it does, and it rolls right up to where she's standing.
Turns out the monsters are really good with wind power energy in this place. And he told me to tell you, the monster did, that the last part after you go in King Kong's mouth, you go into a liger environment. So
that ride I would go on.
Yeah, I'd ride it twice.
It's too many liberties they took with this movie.
Oh yes.
That just in weird directions, just to try to make it cohesive and in the house and scary, and everything's happening in this one area, but yet it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I mean, I apologize to people that really love this movie, but I don't get it.
There's so many liberties that Lady Liberty dropped her shawl in contempt. Yes. Yes, I went there. I don't care who knows it.
Okay. We finally get, to me, what is the coolest shot in the film visually. I was really able to appreciate the backlit, glowing green light, Amy running through the King Kong mouth in fear. She stops, the wind is blowing, she's confused. This visually to me was the coolest shot for sure.
I think that's totally on point. I mean, even on the Blu-ray, I was looking at the Blu-ray the other day, and it's literally like the dad, the monster with the monster mask, and her running, but it's the King Kong mouth in the back. Like you see the little eyes and all that. And I think you totally nailed it. Very awesome. We know where the money went.
So, okay, now Amy runs away, finds herself in the basement room again, sees Liz's dead body cozied up with Madame Zena's. The monster comes busting through the door. So Amy slips into an open hatch that takes her down another level. Okay, I'm following the geography here as I'm watching this, to a room with mechanical pipes and moving parts and an electrical box. Like, what?
I want to blame this on the physics of pipes by Mario, but this was 81, so that really wasn't a factor. Guys like having some mushrooms, like, then there'll be another level. And Toby's like, It's a goddamn carnival. There can't be that many. No, you're not thinking about it. The infinite hippiness that was.
So now all my notes just ramble. I'm going to skip this part about how ridiculous the layout of this carnival is. I can't take it. This is probably where I would have turned it off because I would have just been so frustrated. I'm no engineer. I don't buy this building setup. I get hung up on weird little things.
No, but I mean, if she's even lower than like the basement and that's where all the other stuff is going for like the rails, it almost feels like it would go through like the solid parts and like just be like this a Rubik's cube of a mess that wouldn't even be able to function or run properly.
Right. And so like for me, this would have been way more effective if you do it at like an existing place, like a Knott's Berry Farm or a Disneyland.
And that's what it looked like.
That has levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Hollywood, write that movie too. So the monster now jumps down, scares Amy, and he's lit very well in this scene. And it looks to me like he is what you mentioned earlier, kind of like a Scooby-Doo villain. He looks like he's got a rubber mask he can just pull off. And he's got copious amounts of what looks like KY jelly just dripping off the mouth.
No,
I was so repulsed.
He feels like the guy that would wrestle you and put baby oil on that like couldn't get a grip on you. He's like just drooling over himself. Oh. Like, oh my goodness. So that dude feels like he should be like in the Winter Olympics, like in the luge, like he's ready to go. Or the scene from Christmas Vacation, when he puts the vegetable oil, it's like, hey, we're going fishing. Why are you sliding down there?
The only thing freaky about this whole thing, because he just looks ridiculous and gross, is the actual screeching sound that they attribute to him. That was unnerving.
By the way, the look for the creature, they used my likeness in middle school. So just want everybody to know out there, be gentle. Also, how do you feel about your monsters? You were mentioning that he was well lit. Do you prefer more dark and shadow, or were you okay with illuminating?
I want the bang for my buck. I want to see my monster, except for a movie like The Descent.
Yeah.
I don't want to see my monster so much because it adds to the ambiance and the scariness. But in a movie like this, when it looks like a rubber mask, I know they were doing the best they could. God bless Rick Baker and his team. But it looks bad.
Yeah.
Don't light it that well.
I think also at this point, it's kind of snake bit because due to them not taking, like you said, we took too many liberties. So I think at this point, you're just like waiting to get to like the big kill. It's almost an afterthought, like of trying to do the tone and tenor of the presentation. Like you said, The Descent. The whole movie thrives on darkness versus like here you kind of have this hodgepodge of people being chased in a Scooby-Doo circle that.
All right. So this death scene, this is so bizarre. He grabs this metal crowbar out of Amy's hands, hits an electrical box and gets electrocuted, and he's flailing about. So he accidentally gets caught in some hooks and chains that are just rotating around the sub-basement room. And I'm doing that on the inside. I'm laughing. So then he gets pulled into these giant cogs that are just spinning in the middle of the room. So his body fits perfectly between these because you can see a good lit shot of this guy. He's not struggling. He's not pinned in. There's no blood, but yet he's supposed to be in horrible pain and dying. The only reason we know he's dying is because he's flailing about wildly for 3 solid minutes while electricity shoots and zaps around the room for no reason. This is the craziest scene. It's worth the price of admission. So please tell me that you laughed at this too, and I'm not just being a dick.
I always laugh at this scene. It goes on forever. It's also like the death scene that doesn't end. I mean, it's up there with some of like those awful ones where like the guy is getting shot and it's like 10 minutes long. But no, the flailing, the electrocution. I mean, you're talking about how he swings and initially gets shocked. And it's just like, wow, did we already script the electricity earlier? It's like, but I just think it was all that KY jelly, man. He was like just swooping and, woo.
All right. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought this was preposterous because I was like, are you serious?
He was on preposterone when that scene was shot. Yeah.
So then Amy just now waltzes out the front opening of the ride. What? Why did they not do this 8 hours earlier? I guess they got lost because it was so expansive on the inside.
That was also after the Joey abductor creeper just magically knowing the parents and all that. That was also one of those, like, there are so many atrocities on like sticking to your guns when it comes to the rules. Like they even show the fan scene when she's trying to yell at her parents, which I
Right.
felt was like a little convenient, but at least you're at least telling me they're trapped. And it's like, oh yeah. Turns out if you just pull on the severed human finger, the door opens wide open. And it's just like, oh, it's just like I almost wish, they if you want to remake a movie, instead of remaking a good one, you should like get Rob Zombie and have somebody else write the script and do this one. And it can be like all the carny, creepy people. Give me some weirdness to go with it. So I think, we all are entitled to our opinions, and I feel a lot of the similarities. It's kind of like a mindless, fun 80s cheese ball. But if I am going to critique it, it's also one of those things where I'm not like disparaging, because like you said, there's a cool shot. There's a lot of things aesthetically that do work, like the horror room and all that. Even our like main characters weren't like gratuitously like dumb or insensitive. So I just feel like it came down to the Funhouse. And it's just like one of those things where it's a cool gimmick, but like you said, worth the price of admission. It's like, give me the Funhouse that would really be creepy and cool as hell to watch visually.
So then the movie finally ends, which is weird to me also. After she comes out, she's walking through the carnival, and like the carnies, it's dawn, they're taking everything down. Nobody says anything to her. Nobody's looking at her like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And then fade to black, the end, roll credits.
I was waiting for some of the carnies to like give another one a 20, be like, I told you she was going to make it.
Oh my God. Like Cabin in the Woods, like betting who's going to survive.
Yes, exactly. Got money on the merman.
All right. So did we touch on all the points you wanted to make sure we
I think so. Like mostly, I remember I was taking notes. I just had like an open little document on my phone while I was watching. It was pretty smooth. Coincidentally enough, once we get to like just the third act and cat and mouse, like I kind of just quit taking notes, because there's really nothing remarkable but to laugh and just being taken out of it by all the other establishing, like it's like making a movie where like the dinosaurs can fly and then suddenly, or they can't fly, then they can. I don't know. It's just like, what? It's like, what are we doing here?
So for me, all in all, like I've said throughout this whole thing, if you're a horror fan, this is a must see because it's Tobe Hooper, but don't expect now to be scared by this. Just roll with it, laugh. It's a good time, not scary at all.
No, not at all.
So at the end of every show, I like to ask my guest 3 questions. So can we do that?
Yes.
All right. So my last comment rolls us right into question number 1. Is this a better movie if we don't really see the monster? Should we have had him maybe keep the Frankenstein mask on or not? Something else. Is this a better movie if he was different?
So the question is, do we show the monster, we keep him in the mask, or we just redesign him totally? I think because they had the relationship with Universal, they probably had to get like approval to even use the likeness. And they always have weird rules when you use like IP, especially even then. Like if you use the monster, he can't do this, but he can do that. Like they even have rules for the Joker if you use him in a film, which I didn't know, and I just came across that. I feel like with this monster, they may not have wanted him to be like in a Frankenstein mask the whole time, because then they'd be like, well, why didn't we just make Frankenstein? I think you have to have the monster in this movie for the schlockiness of it, with the mask and the KY jelly, and just because he is so active. I mean, the whole movie is based on him and the, prematurely ejaculating the, Madame Magogo in the basement, which, you know what? That alone has got the balls for an inciting action. But I will go yes to the monster and without the mask. I think it's funnier because as we watch this, I'm like, I wonder if she knew what he looked like with the mask off anyways. She's like, oh, make it 300. I don't know. It's not discount month. So I don't know. I'm definitely yes for the monster. And I don't think we see a whole lot of like split head, like freak show types. I think the only thing we think of when we think like carnivals and freak show in this day and age is like freaks from the very early, part of the 1900s. And then most people probably say the one season of American Horror Story, but we don't have a lot of stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of real world horror and just stuff of talking to people with that background you could do in something, but that's a whole nother soapbox. So yes to the monster, yes to the crooked face, and the drool. Copious amounts of drool.
I have nightmares about that. So question 2, if you, sir, could rewrite this film, what parts do you change? I would change the layout to be a little more believable and the death scenes to be a little more frightening. What would you do differently to this film?
If I was going to redo this movie, Armchair Quarterback,
Yep.
I would do something like Us, where it's like seaside on the boardwalk where it can't move, and they go after hours at night. And maybe you don't know if it's the people that work there, if it's like a weird cult or something. And I would give Alexander Aja full creative control. And I say, give me something, especially with the death scenes, where like you see shit that is like Midsummer with the people's faces smashing, where people in the theater are like, I fucked up coming to see this.
Okay.
Like you really need to grab them by the throat. And I think this movie, for like the Funhouse and the Freaks, I almost feel like going back to Freaks, it was at the 1920s, like when they finally rise above and like dispatch that dude, that is terrifying and awesome and justified. And I think you could do so much with this. You could actually get more sympathy on your monsters. And honestly, like I said, I think there's an opportunity really to just improve it, because structurally, we talked about the script in the third act and then the little boy, Joey, maybe if you want to do more crowd pleaser, you can make Joey kind of like your little Goonies accessory at the end that actually ends up saving people, because him and his friends like know a little cool way in the back alley or some shit. I don't know. But like I said, I think right now there's just so many rules and things they put in place to isolate, and then they just pull them apart. It's like if you're either going to isolate or you make it like some other way, like you said, more realistic or believable, or just more make the problem smaller but more grounded, so it's more reasonable. If you're doing a script and the guy's legs are blown off, crawling like 60 feet can take 2 hours. I totally believe that. In this case, it's like it's a circle that doesn't end. There's apparently 5 levels, and Doug Bradley is somewhere like reconfiguring it with the fucking Leviathan, and I don't know what to do.
So question 3, based on what you've told me, I'm guessing the answer is no, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Did you see the 2006 film Dark Ride?
Was that the one they did for the 8 Films to Die For?
Die For, yes, sir.
And I think even Jimmy from You're the Worst is in that. He has a bit part. And I think
Jamie Lynn Sigler.
Yes. And
the great Hambino from Sandlot.
Mm-hmm. I did see that, and I'm trying to remember the last time I seen it, because it's been a damn long time. And I did dig that movie for what I did see it back then. Damn, it's been a long time. What was that?
So do yourself a favor. It is on Tubi right now for free.
Okay.
For fun, I watched it again last night. So watch it, because there are 2 shots in that film that are exact replica shots from this movie. The one, most importantly, it's in a ride on a boardwalk at night, and there's a killer. Right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty much the same movie.
Because he breaks out too. I remember. It's like very violent.
So the crazy killer whose face we can't see, much more menacing. However, the dialogue is pretty drab. Scenes stretch on a little too long, but there's a shot where the director of that, and I didn't write down his name, my apologies to that director, but it's a good shot because it copies this movie. The girl, the final girl is standing there going, freaking out, and the camera is spinning around her. And they do that on Amy in this movie, if you remember, at the end when she's like disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the same shot. I was cracking up, like they ripped this movie off.
Fun tip, if you're going to homage a movie, make sure you do it better than the previous one in some cases. Or if you do it, make sure it's like low-hanging fruit like this movie we just watched was. But no, I think when you do a movie, which the Funhouse very much, I didn't think about it this way. It's kind of like one of those films like Phone Booth or Devil, or those movies where you have like a limited environment. And even though they, like we said, they don't do a good job of describing the geography really and relevance to them. That is a chore, and you have to really be astute and aware of all the stuff. I mean, you have to get really creative. I mean, I think Alexander Aja produced Pier 2. It's like a Christmas horror movie, locked in the building and just the way to get out from the parking garage. And I think they do a good job of like handling that with like the weird stalker subplot. But this is one of those things where, okay, I'm just going to walk out the front door at the end and nobody's going to ask.
Right?
Yeah. And I think that's really where a lot of this stuff's problems are, because if we look back at that time, even the other movies that are similar to it that are schlocky, most of that stuff wasn't like breaking atoms or anything as far as plot or isolating stuff. So I want to say this is like in the same category as a lot of that stuff, because there was a lot of that. I don't know. I think the reason we both have our hearts like both laughing and hurt is because it is somebody we both respect and love. And I mean, everybody has a different criteria of like who the master is, but I always think of Texas Chainsaw and Night of the Living Dead, and I feel like if we didn't have those two movies, most of the stuff we wouldn't really have today. I mean, it's so counterculture and around social issues, and I think that's when horror thrives.
Very good point. I agree. All right, everyone, that wraps up our discussion on the Funhouse. If you are interested in watching that movie Dark Ride that I mentioned, check it out on Tubi. But for the Funhouse, it's on YouTube or pay streaming on Amazon Prime. I went ahead and broke down and bought the DVD. I'm not sorry because it came with other movies.
Oh, what other movies did it come in? I gotta hear this now.
Oh, good Lord. It's with Dirk Benedict, and it was a TV movie where he turns into a snake.
What?
It's called just the letter S.
Oh.
He turns into a snake. It's amazing. But yeah, and like two other movies, I don't remember what. But I bought it because it had this on it.
I hope when he turns into the snake, he has to go to prom and like dance as the snake. So he has like no arms. I am so morbidly curious about this flick now. What are you watching tonight? I'm watching. No, I said, what are you watching? Oh my goodness.
So I want to thank Brian for joining me today. Thank you so much. I hope this was fun for you.
Oh, it was awesome. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Hey listeners, Movie Miss here. Listen, I know you have a lot of options when it comes to podcasts, so thank you for listening to the show. I know everybody says this, but for a fledgling little show like ours that's just hanging on, we just finished season 4, we're rolling into season 5, it would really help us if you could subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Good Pods. We're also on Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music. It would really help us grow the show and reach more people if you could subscribe and then rate and review, which is really the key part of it. Make sure to be part of our bad movie conversation by following us on social media. Interact with me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Movie Miss, which is movie_miss. The show is on Instagram at Let's Talk Turkeys. Also on Blue Sky at Let's Talk Turkeys and Facebook. We're on X. I'm honestly not sure how much longer I'm going to have the show on there, but currently the handle is at Gobble Podcast. Get it? Gobble, 'cause like a turkey. You can also chat with like-minded bad movie lovers in our Facebook discussion group. And like I mentioned, we're rolling into season 5. It is 2025. The show, it's been a wild ride, still going strong. So if you have a movie that you would like to hear covered on the show, let me know by emailing direct at letstalkturkeys, all one word, at yahoo.com. Also, hit me up on socials if you want to be a guest on the show. Always looking for guests. I can assign you a movie, something we think is fun, or you can bring a movie that you think is a bad movie if it has a low Rotten Tomatoes score, or you just really don't like the movie, but you like to talk about it. That's half the fun, I think. Again, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Without you, the show wouldn't still be kicking around. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us.
I'll be back.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you get the fuck out of here? Well, get the fuck out of here. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.